Hey man, welcome back. So, while I'm waiting on my rock to cure and saving up loot so I can order the tank, I've decided to try to figure out which fish I want to get. I've looked up a bunch of compatibility charts, try to figure out which fish are going to fight with each other, which fish are going to be okay. But it's complicated because while one source says two fish are compatible, another source says they might fight for dominance. So, cross-referencing several of these sources, I've come up with a list of about 10 fish that I think are a good variety with relatively high compatibility with each other. Can we all just get along? Okay, so the first one is this angel dwarf. I think they're pretty cool looking. They may fight for dominance among each other, so it's a good idea to get like either in a custom pair or get a large one and a small one so dominance is obvious. But these prefer a mature tank, so dwarf angelfish, that's one that'll probably get added later on. Another one that I like is the Anthias. These ones are pretty cool because they seem to get along with everybody. Also, I call them the Jurassic Park fish because they're all born female, and if needed, one can spontaneously become a male. So that's kind of cool. Life finds a way. So another one here is it's called a blenny. These are not particularly good-looking fish, but they're pretty cool. They have neat habits. They're sand dwellers, and they'll bury themselves down in the sand, and they'll kind of sift and clean the sand. So they might be good to have to help keep the tank clean. I think my favorite one is this one, the cardinal fish. They look super cool. They get along with almost everything. So I definitely think I'm going to have several of these in the tank. Next up, the ubiquitous clownfish. These are super popular in reef tanks because they're inexpensive, they're hardy, they're friendly, and they form a cool relationship with anemones. While they don't depend on anemones, as some people may believe, they do form a symbiotic relationship with them. And once an anemone is adopted by a clownfish, they will defend it. So the clownfish defends the anemone helps feed the clownfish, and that's kind of a cool thing to see. Mainly though, they're very hardy, so they're a good starter fish. Let's see, the next one up, these are called damsels. Not a whole lot to say, they're pretty neat looking. They're kind of algae hunters, so that might help keep the tank clean as well. The next one here is called a sweet lip. They're kind of interesting looking. Don't really have a lot of information on them though. And the next one is called a hawkfish. These come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, so who knows what it would actually look like if I picked it up from a store. But they have a pretty interesting coloration, so I'm interested in those. This one's called a pseudochromis. Some of these can be like glow-in-the-dark colored fish, and I'm very interested in them. At least initially, this was the fish I wanted the most. But as I started crawling through these compatibility charts, they seem to be let's just say they are not the most compatible fish on the planet with others, and definitely not with themselves. So we'll see if I actually end up putting any in the tank. I think there's other cooler looking fish. Now that I've been looking at them for a while, it might not be worth having a dickfish in the tank. But that was the first fish that I was really interested in having, so we'll see if I end up with one of those. I'm thinking probably not at this point, but we'll just have to see. So out of all these, they're pretty compatible with coral, with the exception of the blennies and the dwarf angelfish. They'll nip at corals if they get hungry, so I just got to keep them fed, and I don't think it'll be a problem. So anyway, that's the update on the fish. I'll keep you posted as I narrow it down further, and I'll see you next time.